welcome to Satsang. We will start with Om Asatoma, which is on page 28 in your songbooks.
Namaste. Welcome to Satsang, and welcome to all those that are here in the Temple of Light and to those that are joining us from elsewhere this evening. We're going to start with a prayer called the Universal Prayer. It's on page 9 if you have your songbooks with you. So as we say this prayer together, I invite you to think of your breath, be aware of your inhalation and exhalations as you say the prayer. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchitananda. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember thee. Let us ever sing thy glories. And let thy name be ever on our lips. And let us abide in thee forever and ever. So the next part of Satsang is we're bringing in the light. It's called Arti. So I'd like to start with a little quote from Swami Radhananda's book, Living the Practice. She says, breath is a practice of being able to let go and a practice of being able to draw something in. So I thought what we could do is we could draw in the light into ourselves, and then we'll share it with whomever we want to share it with. So sitting quietly, you're welcome to close your eyes and use your breath to bring you to that quiet, still, receptive place. Inhaling, exhaling. Use your power of imagination to visualize light, brilliant white light. See a shower of light showering over your body. And then see a thin stream of light entering your body. And see this light flowing in and filling you completely. Allow every cell of your being to be filled with light. And feel the light. Feel the warmth and the fullness of the light as it suffuses every cell of your being, every level of consciousness. See yourself as light, brilliant white light. And then see the doors of your spiritual heart center in the middle of your chest opening wide. And see the light coming through, forming a clockwise spiral in front of you. And then see the spiral of light flowing out further. See it moving towards your home, if you're outside of your home, to your neighborhood, to your city or town, country. See it continuing to expand. So expanding and expanding throughout the world, so that ultimately everything and everyone is in the light. All the plants, the animals, the people, buildings. See all of this in the light, receiving light. And then begin to see the light coming back. See it retreating back into the room that you're sitting in. For us here in the temple, see the clockwise spiral of light in front of you. See someone you know that's dear to you, that you'd like to share the light with. See this person in the light, filled with light, wrapped in light, and lift it up and up till they reach the source of light above. And then connecting with your breath for a few breaths. Let's repeat the light mantra together. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. Om.
Next, we'll be singing Meditation on Breathing on page 86 in your songbook. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in,
about a month ago or so, I started singing, "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free." And I don't have a lot of musical background, but that song kept coming up. And then around the same time, I read a quote by Lao Tzu. He says, "All I have to teach are three things: simplicity, patience, and compassion." And I thought, there's that simplicity word again. So maybe my higher self or some part of me is giving me a message. So I started exploring simplicity. And often when I sort of am beginning to explore something, I want to practice to go with it. And I very often go to this book, Living the Practice by Swami Padmananda. But I love it because it's so practical. Breath, the invisible work. That's what the chapter is called. Breath, the invisible work. So I read the chapter and I read the chapter. So I started working with the practice, and I realized when I paid attention to my breath, it created a bit of space. So when I was in that unemotional place, I could say, "Ooh, what's going on here?" And, continue to step back with my breath and not get quite so engaged with it. So then I took different things that I noticed through. Each week I had a different practice. One week it was, let's look at all my opinions. And the next week it was, let's look at all my dislikes, and so on and so forth. And each week I had this practice. And used the breath as the practice that I kept bringing in, because it was simple. And I was trying to keep things simple. And I recognized, even though I live at an ashram and we have a great community here, the whole world seems to be, with COVID and everything that's going on, it's not simple. I realized that I was craving simplicity and maybe that needing to hibernate, eating a little bit more. There was things going on. So to actively engage with myself, I thought I'd start exploring more what it meant. And then I finally realized that if I decrease, anxiety was one of them that I worked with one week. If I could decrease some anxiety, all of a sudden it opened a bit more space. And so that was a way of becoming more simple. And the same if I decreased my dislikes a little bit, things opened up a bit more. So it's been an amazing practice. And, I remember or recall all my children and my partner were great fans of Star Trek. They were Trekkies. And, that saying, the last frontier is the mind. or that's my saying, the last frontier is the mind. And they used to say, let's go to the last frontier. So this is where I can simplify. I can simplify myself. I can simplify all those bits about myself that can often, like a forest, because we've been looking at forests. The last couple of days we were looking at the forest and how we can sort of make it healthy and alive. And if there's a forest that's full of dead wood and there's lots of stuff growing on top, no light can get in and nothing can really grow. So if I can remove selectively bits and pieces from my forest of my mind, then the light can come in. I can have a beautiful environment, which we see in the forest, if I use that as a metaphor. And then I'm in a place to serve in a way that I really want to. I can be with my friends in a way that I want to be. I can be with the people I work with. I can be with my family in a much healthier way. And to me, that's selfless service. And Swami Padmananda says that in her book. She said, at the end of the chapter, she says she was able to begin to recognize that staying with that practice of breath was a form of selfless service. So it sort of came around full circle to the selfless service part. And then it's the chapter in that book, she starts it off with a quote by Swami Radha. I thought I'd leave us with this. As you keep practicing, the channel will become clearer, and this is a form of selfless service. So for me, it's a very juicy practice right now. There's lots of material in it, and I have an image of a little excavator that we saw today that can pick up those little logs and take them and put them in somewhere else. Pick up those little logs and put them somewhere else. But breath is an incredible practice. Simple, but profound. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about it. Namaste.
So we'll sing "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." And I don't think the words are in your book, but they're pretty simple. "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come round where we ought to be. And when we are in the place just right, we will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning and turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come round where we ought to be. When we are in the place just right, we will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning and turning we come round. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come round where we ought to be. When we are in the place just right, we will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn it will be our delight, till by turning and turning we come round.
So we're going to chant a healing mantra, Hari Om. And I have another little quote. This is also, it's from the same chapter in Swami Radhananda's book. She says, she invites us, she says, "Can I stay with my breath and expand it by bringing in the mantra or visualizing the light with the breath?" So can I stay with my breath and expand it by bringing in the mantra or visualizing the light with the breath? So we have a prayer list that we chant for each evening. You can gently close your eyes, connect with your breath, preparation for the mantra. If there's any issue, concern, or people you'd like to hold in the mantra, bring those forward as well. Consideration.
Night after night, my soul goes out to thee. Flowing springs of joy make me whole. Going into light, I join all thy creation in a song of praise. Night after night, my soul goes out to thee. Flowing springs of joy make me whole. Going into light, I join all thy creation in a song of praise. Night after night, my soul goes out to thee. Flowing springs of joy make me whole. Going into light, I join all thy creation in a song of praise. Night after night, my soul goes out to thee. Flowing springs of joy make me whole. Growing into light, I join all thy creation in a song of praise.
We'll move on to prasad, which is a time where we share a sweetness. We usually pass it around. But in this time where we're staying a little distant from each other and being a bit more mindful, I invite you to close your eyes and we'll visualize. And you can open your hands into a receptive place. And in your mind's eye, visualize something. Visualize a gift that came your way today. Could be a smile from someone, a note from someone, a victory within yourself, whatever. See what comes to mind. And then invoke feelings of gratitude for what came your way, what gift you received. And then bring that close to your heart. Taking a few breaths. Absorbing, receiving. I am created by divine light. I am sustained by divine light. I am protected by divine light. I am surrounded by divine light. I am ever growing into divine light. Come on. Namaste.